Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. B's Advice to the World. I'm Dr. Anita Blanchard, and this is my channel where I'm going to share information about being a mother, about life in academia, and about life in general. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing mentors and mentoring. We're going to talk about the why, the when, the how, and the importance of mentors in nearly every aspect of your life. But before we get started, I have to tell you that not everyone agrees that mentors are important. When I started this job, I found an essay by a senior pale male colleague who said that academics don't need mentors, especially women and minorities. They should just know what to do. I don't agree with that advice. So let's say that we're going to start this video on mentors are actually important and why. Mentors are important because they can provide concrete information and solutions to problems you might have. I know that this is not as rare as you might think, but when people start a job, they might want to know how to make copies. And they don't want to ask their boss to look like they don't know what to do. So a mentor can provide information, very basic information, how to make copies, how do I get coffee, how do I get pencils. So that's some basic informational support. Mentors can also provide socio-emotional support. That's a fancy word for going, that's great, or ooh, that's not so good. Okay, so mentors provide both information and socio-emotional support. They can provide role modeling. Certainly when I was in graduate school, I would look at my professors to see who I thought were better teachers, and I would try to emulate what they were doing. I look around my colleagues currently and see who's doing something well. I try to emulate them. Same thing with conflict. I like to look at who handles conflict well and use them as role modeling. Mentors can also provide networking. They can introduce you to people. They can take you to conferences, especially as young graduate students. A good senior mentor can take you to a conference and introduce you to people, make sure that you're connected and you're making academic friends to help you in your career. And they can do coaching. The final thing is coaching. And I find that to be some of the most important part of mentoring. An example that has happened recently, not to me, was with another female colleague who had to deal with a bullying senior male colleague who spoke negatively about her to her chair. And we were like, oh, we need to address this. We came up with some ideas. I decided to reach out in my mentoring network to someone who was even more senior. And we sat down and came up with a solution that protected my friend and my mentee, as well as provided concrete information about what the other person had done wrong and how to remedy the situation. So that kind of coaching is very important. And I think essential to being a productive and progressive colleague in today's world. So who should be your mentor? I know that in most people's minds, when they're first starting out, they think a mentor should be the traditional, very senior mentor who knows everybody and is really famous. And I'd call that the traditional mentor. But I have found that although these people are very useful, and I only have one or two of them, I have a lot more people that I would call step ahead mentors. And I've used them throughout my entire life. So if you're an undergrad, step ahead mentor would be who's in graduate school. If you're in graduate school, who is in an academic position or who is working in industry that you'd like to work with. If you're on the tenure track, someone ahead of you who's already gotten tenure. These are people who can provide you with how to get from point A to point B because they were just at point A and they know how to do it. I have also found peer mentors to be extremely important. Peer mentors are people at the same level of you as you are, who have the same ambitions that you are, and they are, you work together to solve the problems. When I was in graduate school, we had a peer mentoring group that was by far the most successful mentoring group I've ever been in. We supported each other through our thesis, our qualifying exams, our dissertations, and through the job market. It was a pretty powerful experience that I really try to get people to set up no matter where you are in your career. I think those are very useful. And remember, you should have as many as possible. One person is not going to do that for you. So how do you get these mentors? Well, first I encourage you to go see Dr. Ellen Insher's TED Talk on how to get a mentor. It's a great way to start. and to just be looking around you and looking what opportunities are available in your organization. If there's a formal mentoring program in your school or at your organization, you should get involved. Formal mentoring programs may not be as successful as informal mentors, but you should get in and get connected and networking and get that support. That's the first way to start. My formal mentoring programs have always been really good. Hey, Lisa. So so those have been really useful for me. Other people, it's not as useful, but I found them very good. You should also look for people where you are and at people where you'd like to be and start a relationship with them. I know that that's a lot more difficult. I can talk to a brick wall, so I actually can go up and say, hey, I like you. Could you be my mentor? And I'm sure I look really weird, but I don't really care. And I can get a mentor that way. I also have friendships with people who are a step ahead, and I will email them, just like I did yesterday, and said, hey, mentoring, I just start off the email, mentoring question. How are you doing that so well, and can you help me? Or to another person who I also view as a friend and mentor, just start off, mentoring question, this is my problem, help me solve it. And with peer mentors, there's no problem at all. Just finding like-minded people, setting up weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings that you want to help each other succeed and improve through sharing information. And those folks are going to go somewhere, and then they're going to be step-ahead mentors, and then they're going to be senior mentors that you're going to have that connection with. And another thing that's really important to notice is that the deeper characteristics are much more important than the superficial characteristics. So you do not need to have a mentor that matches you on whatever your outside looks like. You need to, that may be initially important, but for longer term mentoring relationship, people who have similar ambitions, similar goals, similar values and attitudes tend to be much more successful than not. And we can actually have a series of discussions about this if you have questions or ideas about what this. So what do you talk about with your mentors? Well, I'll tell you, I talk about everything: studying, writing papers, finishing, defending your dissertation, interviewing for jobs, being on the tenure track, dealing with poopy head people on the tenure track, because those are going to happen, having children on the tenure track, if that's an option for you, having other academic mothers, there's actually a group for that. That can be helpful. For me, I've used mentors in pregnancy, miscarriages, breastfeeding, having twins, my health, sleep, being married, and staying married with twins when you're not sleeping and you're on the tenure track. Yeah, that one comes up too. There are just a variety of things that whatever is bothering you or you're worried about right now, you can create a mentoring relationship with someone to get the advice, support, coaching to be useful, to solve the problem and reduce your worry, hopefully. Okay, so that's been this week's Dr. B's advice to the world. As I have said, and I will continue to say, all I offer is advice, and it may or may not work for you. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to continue this discussion, please leave a comment for me either below or on one of the social media that you found this on. Please click on the button and subscribe, and you can actually give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I appreciate that feedback. And if you'd like to hear more about mentoring, or there's some topic you'd like to know about, just let me know. Okay, thank you. See you guys next week.